Hey everybody, this podcast is brought to you by our very own film, Webcast. It's the story of two young filmmakers who suspect that their neighbours are holding someone against their will. What will they do? Will they run surveillance? You bet they will. Will they broadcast it live on the internet? They probably shouldn't, but you know it's going to happen. And what happens if the people you're watching are watching you too? It's a new British horror film. It's coming out in 2017, and right now we need your support to get it into as many places as possible. We want a cinema release. That's what we want, and the only way to do that is to visit our website, isawthewebcast.com, and go to the Watch Webcast page. On there you can hashtag us, I want to see Webcast. Failing that, go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/ISawTheWebcast, and like the page. The more people who like it, the more people who want to see it, the better chance of getting it into the cinema and have you sitting on the edge of your seats there, eating your popcorn and screaming your heads off. That's it. Okay, back with the podcast. Oh my God. All right. Hey everybody. Welcome to a Webcast podcast. I'm going to do this whole fucker in one take. I don't care.
Oh, I'm going to shut up. Go.
This is me, Paul McGhie. And on the other line is Joe Tremain. Finally.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all right. If you sound bemused, it's because we've been trying to do the same podcast for about 4 days now. And... ironically, this is going to be a Blair Witch Project commentary podcast. The irony being that whilst they were lost in the woods, we seem to be lost in digital hell.
Yes.
Going round in circles. So we're going to watch the Blair Witch Project, and we watched it the other day together, and kind of did this podcast. But one of the audio files corrupted. Which means we're do you know what it means, Joe? I'll tell you what it means.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking log, Joe. It's the same log.
That was good. I like that.
It can't be. Oh my God, it is.
Oh,
it's
he's
the
still
same
going
log.
with it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Do that.
All right. So we're gonna hit play, and then we're gonna go. So if you're ready, Joe.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Hit it. All right, that didn't work. There we go. Now I'm running. Okay.
Oh, is it going? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going. Oh, we're gonna have that only a few seconds delay. I'll be fine, I'm sure. So, Joe, it's the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this because I've never seen this film before. Oh no, wait, that's not true at all.
I feel like this is slowly turning into the worst idea of all time, where they watch Grown-Ups 2 every day. Every week for a year. This is going to be the same shit.
Well, yeah, that might be what happens here with Blair Witch Project. Okay, so where are we? We've got the Haxan Films logo, and then we've got the Blair Witch Project, the title, and it's got that shaky title thing going on.
Yeah.
Fairly creepy, eh, Joe?
It is. I'm trying to remember what I said last time.
Well, no, just
include it again.
Go with it. Yeah. So in October 1994, 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found. It's pretty ominous stuff.
It is. Like that sort of, that kind of very factual seeming beginning really sets the mood for the whole piece, I think.
It does. It's very inviting in the sense that you are invited to take a trip into the documentary of the deaths of 3 people.
Yeah,
it's very Reservoir Dogs, I think. In that the whole torture scene in Reservoir Dogs, you're invited in with something that you know is going to be kind of cool, and then you watch it and you're fucking horrified. And loads of other
slightly less cool, but it's still horrifying.
It's creepy as shit though. It's cool in that kind of creepy horror way, I think.
Yeah, and
I think a whole bunch of found footage films started with that kind of thing. After Blair Witch did it, and did it like quite badly. So there you are. Okay, so now we're what are we looking at now? They're just meeting up. This is the part where shit, I've done this movie so many times I've forgotten everyone's name. Heather, Mike and Josh, that's right.
Yeah, there's literally 3 characters.
Paul. There's 3 characters, and I've gone mad because having watched it so many times, I had a minute there where I just completely forgot any of their names.
You just forgot which movie you're watching.
Yeah. Oh, I know. What's great though here is that we can talk about how Blair Witch may seem like this low budget film that's kind of a whole bunch of ad-libby bits that are put together to make something horrific, but it's a way more sophisticated film than you might think in that sense. Like if you look at the style in which people write scripts and the fact that every script in the first 3 pages generally has a kind of a moral that's told, like a line that's thrown out there. And Blair Witch is no different. It has that too, because it's almost the first thing that Heather says is she's looking at her books and she says, here's a book about how to survive in the woods, because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, there you are. It's the
entire story in one line right at the beginning of the movie.
Yep, doesn't get any clearer than that.
Yeah.
So here they are. They've all met up now, and they've started their documentary. Yeah. They're talking to a waitress here, and they talk to a whole bunch of people. So they're in Burkittsville now, I guess. And
so I remember what you said last time, that I mean, you just reiterated on it now, but regarding the script writing, even though it does seem very improvised, and a lot of it maybe was, or I think you said that a lot of it was when they went out into the woods, but there are certain lines that the scriptwriters obviously wanted to put into the movie that really just cement how well told a story it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. I can't remember any of those now. I'm sure they'll come up. When they come up, we'll kind of like...
Well, obviously that one you just said about, do you want to... Oh, sorry, surviving in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in these early moments, there's a lot of Heather kind of bossing the shit out of Josh and Mike. Straight away, she's on it. You get that impression of her. She's already, very controlling. She's talking about time and schedule. It's like, hey, there's Mr. Punctuality and all that kind of business.
Yeah.
It's very, it's passive aggressive, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of her nature. And she feels like she has to boss these two guys about to get the work done. And they seem fairly easygoing at this point. I like these shots of the cemetery, actually. They're very... it's a little bit Night of the Living Dead, actually.
Actually is, you've not mentioned that before, especially that shot here.
No, that's the one, etched in stone, she's saying, and that's
it's like it's a very low sort of POV shot.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, very much.
So obviously this podcast will have spoilers for this movie, and probably the remake as well.
Yes. Are we calling it a remake? I suppose it's like a reboot.
Oh, sorry. Was it a no? Because it is a sequel, isn't it?
It's a
direct sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
The new one.
Yes. The new one. Blair Witch. We'll call them by their titles. Blair Witch Project, Blair Witch, and people can differentiate between the two from there, I suppose.
And then maybe humorously refer to Book of Shadows every now and again. Because that was a bad movie.
Let's also mention Book of Shadows.
Anyway, here's your favourite kid.
Oh yeah, here's my favourite kid.
There he comes. He's come and gone. He's out of it.
It's a nice demographic they've got here.
Yeah.
Really. You've got Mr. Baseball Cap, Mr.
Guy,
Mr. Old Guy. I know all the stories of what happened in the fall. There's in the winter of 1940.
I like your accent, man. It's good.
He kind of sounds like that, doesn't he?
Oh, here, that's right, baby.
Here we are. Baby slapping Mama in the face. Stop telling the story.
Which is good. I think I said this before. Like, it works in two ways. It's funny to look at because the kid's obviously he doesn't give a shit. But it kind of works with the mum is telling a creepy story, and the child doesn't want to know about it because she's talking about Rustin Parr and all that.
Yeah, it's nice actually. In that kind of it is almost in itself a folk tale, isn't it? And getting the different people from town of the different ages to tell it is a nice touch. I remember saying here as well about the fact that the film is almost set up like a joke with a punchline.
Yeah.
In that this whole part here is a setup, and although within a joke usually you'd have a setup and then fairly quickly the punchline. This film is almost set up, then it's about an hour of dear God, what the hell, kind of scary shit, and then a punchline in the last few seconds. Which is quite cool. You made a really interesting point about that, but I think we'll leave that until later.
Oh, about okay. Well,
yeah.
I'll probably forget, so remind yourself.
Yeah.
I think we were saying last time, like, how many of these people do you reckon are actors versus just people they saw in the street and say, can you just make up some stuff?
Yeah, I get the impression here that these aren't actors, or if not, maybe like people. Maybe they asked a whole bunch of people in the town.
Yeah.
If they knew, but actually that would be dependent on whether the story was true, and it probably isn't true. So, yes, then they're all actors, and they're all telling a fairly decent yarn. And that leads into them talking about Mary Brown, who reckons she's seen the Blair Witch, and here we come into the kind of the trailer park where Mary Brown lives, and there's Mary's gate, stick gate, as it were.
Yep.
Some brilliant carpentry. Here she is.
The possible prosthetics.
Yeah, it does look like she's got a fake nose and a fake chin, like they've witched her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just doesn't look particularly right.
She does.
I feel bad if that's a real. Yeah. She's a real person. She dresses like that usually, but I don't know, man. I wonder if it's worth IMDbing that. Actually, I might do that now.
Just
IMDb.
Weird woman who looks like the Moon Man from those McDonald's adverts in the 80s on Blair Witch Project.
I love her oversized clothes as well. That's some serious 90s clubber she's got on there.
Yeah, well, she's just kept it, The time has gone so quickly that she still thinks that stuff's in fashion, I think.
She talks about the idea of a woman with horse hair for skin.
Oh, yeah.
That's really interesting, actually, because I was reading a Stephen King story not so long ago in which a very similar description was given to witches or vampires, I think it was. So it was in the Dark Tower. So maybe this is something from folklore that I'm not that clued up on. But she is, she's really a strange looking woman, perfectly cast.
What?
I think.
Yeah, no, she is. She's a good little character.
Yeah. She sounds stoned too when you hear her talk. Like, I don't know what was going on. I was just hungry. I had the munchies. I smoked some really weird shit. And then this woman came out of the lake. She had horse hair.
But now you've just sort of like destroyed the whole sort of mystique about her. Because she hasn't seen anything. She was just high as fuck. She's just a strung out ex-hippie, Good job, Paul. Well done. You just destroyed everything.
That could be her backstory. No, she's creepy as hell. Oh, and I like that. They're in the car, and Heather's telling Josh how to do his job. One of the worst things a director can do is tell a technical person how to do their job. They fucking know how to do it. Leave them alone. Yeah. But she can't help herself. She's running this crew with an iron fist. I would say. And now they're all they're in the hotel room, getting drunk in the hotel.
Yeah.
She's still having a go at him, running too much film through the camera. Like, okay, that's good. She's like, yeah. Josh doesn't care.
So we were talking about like the archetypes before, where Josh is sort of the middleman.
Yeah.
He is like the middle ground between Mike's sort of sardonic but almost sarcastic and arsehole-ish attitude, whereas Heather is the positive hero. Mike could be seen as the antagonist.
Yeah, she's kind of the protagonist. To begin with, it's set
up as that.
Yes, she's the protagonist to start with, and Mike is the antagonist, and Josh is the middleman. I think that's definitely how it begins. And look, he's already got the camera she's already got the camera in his face. He's like, I'm not ready for that. Let's put that away. She's already grating on him. You can tell.
Yeah.
And here we go. Our first meeting in the woods of the day. It's with the two fishermen,
the Flannel Boys, which is it's like the Burkittsville version of Del Boy and Rodney.
Yeah, it really is. They do look like Del Boy and Rodney, and the the curse of the oversized clothes continues
Yes.
with Rodney. It's the real curse of the Blair Witch is people not being able to get decent sized clothes.
Well, according to the new one, they all get stuck in a time loop, so they could just be stuck in a time loop from 10 years ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. I like this bit though. I like. I was saying again, it feels so natural. This part of the film, but they're doing classic scene dialogue conflict stuff. You know, they're both telling the same story, but one's going, "Oh, that's bullshit. It's not that way. It's this way." And also Del Boy there with his hat and his fisherman's jacket, auditioning for a Scooby-Doo movie. He was, "You damn full kids, you never learn." Yeah, it's great.
That was funny,
it's
but I've heard you say that before, so it was like less of an impact this time.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But it still stands true. He is the Scooby-Doo guy.
We're just totally taking the polish off this podcast. It's like, we've done this. You said that before. Yeah.
All right, okay, no. Okay, let's not refer to saying any of this stuff before again. But yeah, so this is what actually I was thinking after last time. These are the last people they see.
They are the last people they see.
Are the last
I
people
never
they
even
speak
thought
to.
about that. These are the last people to see them alive.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. Weirdly, I've never thought about that.
And it's just quite creepy that they are the last two people to see them alive, just two people fishing.
Very true.
The last thing they hear from somebody else is, "You kids never learn." So it really is that in your face.
That's very true. Gosh. That's my new thing I've learnt from this this watching. There's Heather struggling to get her bag on, and I think it's
not done efficiently.
No, it's fucking mess, isn't it? So
Nor is Josh. They're both good shit. But Mike, when you check out Mike's bag,
he's got the fucking camera on. And not only that, he's like, "I could help you, but I'd rather stand." I love that. I could help you, but I'd rather stand here a second. I could help you. I don't really like you. I'd rather watch you suffer for a moment.
Which is an important reference for later.
Yes,
and as always, they leave the bottle of water on the car.
They waste of water, and that's going to be,
guys.
Yeah, that's not going to be good. So here we go. They're on their way to Coffin Rock.
Oh, she going? Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, they're already at the point where they want to get Heather suffering, aren't they? Oh, I see a dirty behind and all this.
Do both of them, or do you think it's just Mike having a giggle and Josh is kind of joining in?
I think like they both kind of think at this point, okay, she's going to be a bit of a handful in the sense that
it's all this controlling shit.
Yeah. She's getting on their nerves a little bit. Okay, so we're at Coffin Rock, and we've got the whole black and white sequence of the actual documentary sequence, and Heather is pretty shit at delivering dialogue for a documentary, which is good because in terms of acting, it's really good acting because her natural stuff is great, and her reading stuff is really kind of stuffy and still.
Yeah.
So it's they're good at what they do, I guess. I was just thinking, actually, if you actually put together the parts of this that was the actual documentary that they actually shot, it would be like about a 3-minute documentary.
You reckon?
Well, I suppose they would have shaped it later. And all she wanted to shoot was the stuff at Coffin Rock and the stuff in the cemetery, and that was it.
Yeah, that is only about 3 minutes, isn't it? 3 to 5.
Yeah. It's a very expensive, very short documentary. They paid with their lives.
See, I'm surprised they never actually. You said on the DVD or something on the VHS they had a separate documentary of Rustin Parr giving interviews.
Yes, they do. There's this whole documentary they made that is trying to, confirm the film as real, as the things that happen as real. And I think that was the filmmakers' true intention, or certainly their early intention when putting this together. This is from what I've read anyway. And then I think I read it from an interview with Heather, actually. And what happened is that the quality of stuff they shot in the woods was so good, they realised they could make an entire film out of that instead. And then they also had this nice little kind of side documentary. I think it's like 30 minutes long. Considering the whole film is only 80 minutes, I mean... Yeah. It's a heavy chunk of stuff.
That is quite a
Yeah. It's pretty good. Although I've not seen it in about 15 years. It might not be as good as I remember. I certainly remember thinking it wasn't quite as authentic as the actual film itself.
Right.
Okay, so they've camped for the night now, and they've woke up in the morning, and Josh is talking about the fact that he could hear cackling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's Mike going, if I'd heard cackling, I would have shit my pants. And I kind of tend to agree with him. I think Mike is like the most honest person all the way through this film. Oh yeah, they're already starting to talk about being lost. Like, oh, did we get a little lost yesterday? Yeah. No, I think that's a full of shit statement. So already the idea of getting lost is starting. Where are we? 18 minutes in. So yeah, that's about the right place to.
This is the first day as
happen. Well. So this is day 2 now, isn't it? Because they've slept over. So this is day
the first
2.
but the first day they've been in, because they arrived yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But you were saying, so they were meant to be there. They're meant to be there for 3 days, and that's it. Yeah,
or even 2 maybe.
Okay. Oh, because it's just a weekend thing, right?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it's a weekend thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now she's kind of, oh, there's a trail at the top of this hill. It's like, it's not a trail. This is not a trail. So already they're doubting her. You know, already there are trust issues occurring.
Right.
And there's Mike's chest, which is a very bizarre thing in itself.
Yeah.
Sporadic hair.
Where's the hair? It's just very patchy.
It is.
There's a lot of patchy hair going on there.
It feels like a bodged up wax job, that.
It does.
But also at the same point, he's got so far into that wax job, he might as well have just stayed for the rest of it.
Yeah, he pussied out.
He's about 8 strips into a 10-strip wax there.
Have you ever had your chest waxed?
I've not. No. I think I've had like one of my shins done as a dare, and that's it. And then one of those machines that just like pulls the hair out, whatever the fuck those are. I had that done to me once, like just the once, and be like, oh my dear God, why would anyone use such a contraption? Oh dear. Anyway, back to the film. Not the horrors of having hair torn out of our bodies. Yeah, so already, you know, this whole portion of the film is like, do you know where we're going? How far away is it? Let's check the map. And the whole time, Heather's like, no, I know the way, man. And yeah, that Mike with his whole, how could you fucking know where we are? He's very much doubting. He's already pissed off. He thinks they're lost.
Yeah.
And he thinks they've been lost all day. So there's already, we're kind of like, they've known each other about 24 hours at this point. And already she's kind of, I didn't agree to be prancing around in the woods. And there's, you know, Josh is the mediator. There's Josh. Josh is very 90s looking, isn't he?
He is the epitome of 90s.
Yeah. Do you know who he reminds me of, Joe?
Go on.
Do you know?
No, I don't.
Reminds me of the lead singer of the Spin Doctors, Joe.
Shut up.
He looks like the lead singer of the Spin Doctors.
What? That is ridiculous, because it's so true.
I know.
That's such an astute observation.
If you look at the, if you had a graph, which looks at the minute the Spin Doctors stop being famous, and the point where the 3 kids in the Burkittsville woods go get lost and disappear forever, I think you'll find a correlation.
What's the correlation?
That's a really long ass way of me saying it is him. It is him.
It basically is the lead singer from the Spin Doctors. He decided to go off and film a documentary.
I think he wrote 2 Princes. It was actually his experience with Heather and with Mike.
Yeah.
All the while I've been talking this shit, we've just missed like a really major kind of plot point, dialogue point, which is when
about the movie anymore, man.
Mike says, "I didn't sign up for this," or can you stop filming? And Heather says, "You know, well, we're making a documentary. This is what I do." And he goes, "Oh, we're making a documentary about a witch, not about getting lost in the woods."
See,
is that true?
Like it's another line that they deliberately I mean, they said you've got to put this line in at some point.
Yeah, I think so, or something very kind of close to that.
Yeah.
And at this point, do you think Heather knows that Josh is using like the really good camera to watch her? She'd probably be absolutely fucking
getting on the ass. He's about the piece of ass, isn't he?
He is about the piece of ass. He shoots her ass quite a lot. I see a dirty behind. There was that line and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. We're very close. You guys excited? They're like just. Yeah. We just want to get out of here now already.
Do you think they honestly want to get out of here already? Or they
already
want to get the stuff done and just go?
I think at this point they probably are thinking she's hard to work with, and let's just get this done and get out of here. So here we are. They've been on the cemetery trail, and now there's the rocks in the trees.
Okay, so here's the rocks.
Rocks, lots of rocks. So I was just thinking to myself, like, I've got a note here about Mary Brown on the rocks. Oh, is it because Mary Brown told... Oh, it's because she talks about how... Didn't Mary Brown say something about the idea of... Oh, there are seven piles of rocks. Wasn't there 7 children that went missing in the Mr. Parr story?
Yes. Yeah, it was 7.
Ah, see, I don't think I've ever made that connection before.
Okay.
I've watched this film so many times. I've watched it like a fucking idiot. Clearly, just
no,
stuff.
It's so,
stuff on screen.
It just what's the word? It just shows how well made this film is.
Yeah, I guess so. And so here's the campfire scene. So they're still kind of on timetable at this point, aren't they? As in, like, they're meant to be camping and all that business. And they did this shot in the new one as well. Oddly, they referenced the shot around the campfire and the licking of the flames.
Yeah, when they filmed Mr. Blandy McBland. They were all bland as fuck, except the best friend was fairly decent. Like, not the acting, like the actors, I'm sure they're all very capable, but I don't think the characters they were given were great in any sense. I
didn't like the fact that it was acted, whereas this feels very ad-libby. That felt like everything was a line of dialogue from a script.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat too badly on Blair Witch, because I think overall I enjoyed it, and I thought the ending was very frenzied and good, like pretty terrifying as endings to horror films go.
I really liked it. I really liked the movie. Like I said, like, it's the complete opposite to this movie. It's the complete opposite every way, where that's a visual movie and this is more of
I think it was more of a studio movie. Like, I think there were boxes they probably had to tick and things that had to be done.
Of course, that's why they have references and bits from other found footage movies. Like you said, the time warping stuff and the...
the time warping stuff's from Grave Encounters. Oh, yeah, and the tunnel bit reminds me of another... Oh, God, I can't remember the name of that film now, which is going to bug me.
Yeah.
I'll try and remember it. But it was set, like, in Wales, I seem to remember. Anyway, getting back to it, they've been out to see the rocks again, and Heather walked right into a pile of them. So that's going to, piss off whoever it is in the woods that's doing shit. And now they've woke up in the night and they can hear things. They can hear things all around them. So it's the first time they've had real noises at nights. And it sounds like rocks hitting other rocks, I think. Or like rocks being chipped away.
Yeah.
Mike is the only sane one. He's like, I'm not going out. Fuck that. And there's Josh in his very 90s, his 94 Ray Mac. This is where he really, really looks like Spin Doctor's dude.
Well, really. Like we said, so he came straight off a tour just to quickly go and do this for the weekend. And now he's getting a bit edgy. I mean, he's calm and everything, and maybe the coke's starting to wear off, but
I was just thinking...
He needs to get back. He's got to be back Sunday evening. He's got to get back on that tour.
He's got to be back for a gig.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be very. It just occurred to me actually that when he goes missing later, and they can hear him like out in the woods, it's like, what's that he's saying?
Yeah.
And you just hear.
Yeah. That's it. He's gone. He's gone to go play. So that's why he disappears. He has to. He's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. I've tried my best. I'm done.
I always remember that line, that Mike line about, you know, what if there's someone out there? And he's like, well, you know, I don't want to play with that. Well, if it's not a person, well, I don't want to play with that either. He is a man of reason.
Yeah.
I think he's the everyman at this point. He's like, fuck it, I want to get out of here. And this is where they start to realise they may be a little lost. Or they're certainly doubting Heather even more than before.
Yeah.
And she's promising them, I'm telling you guys the next 2 hours. Tell you what, if I was out in the middle of the woods and someone was saying to me, oh, it's only 2 hours that way, Jesus, I'd stop like they've stopped now and go, wait a second, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
I love that with Mike. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Also, I'd be seriously fucked off if it was like, we don't know where we are, you're saying 2 hours, and all you're doing is filming us at the same time.
Yeah.
And now she's trying to convince them about camping for another night because it's getting dark. All that while she's filming still. I'd be pretty fucked off.
I mean, it is quite interesting. She is still she's still being quite full force of this control.
Yeah, she's still kind of like, well, she's still trying to boss them about. She's the only one claiming to know where they are, and they're saying, well, you've not been out here before either, so how do you know? Yeah, here we go. So turn the camera off. Here we go. Yeah, it's starting to become a serious thing. Turn me off and give me the map.
But this is where, like,
I want to mark this occasion. That's annoying. That would annoy me.
Mike is the first person that has a sort of an audible breakdown almost.
There it is, yeah.
But I wouldn't say this is a breakdown. This is just him losing his shit, because I think his anger here is justified. Whereas when Josh loses it, and then when Heather loses it, it's a bit more madness. Yes.
There's more of a threat at that point, though, of of real danger. Whereas at this point is like, well, it's dangerous, but
well, they don't really know what's happening in the moment.
Yeah,
there's
no
more
irresponsibility
following them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to rationalise. I gotta get back tomorrow and all this stuff. Oh, here we go. Second night noises now. And this sounds like branches snapping. Tree branches snapping, I think. I think this is really scary. It's really unnerving. If you put yourself there, if you can imagine yourself out in the woods, you've camped for the night, you're kind of lost, you're wet, you're annoyed, then you start hearing fucking snapping branches and you can't see more than like 15 feet ahead of you. This really reminds me of like the first time anyone ever described the Blair Witch Project to me, like, oh, there's this film coming out, it's about these kids who basically go camping in the woods and get terrorised, and you're like, that's some scary shit. I wouldn't go out into the fucking woods in the middle of the night. Fuck it, I wouldn't go to a park in the middle of the night. No, in the woods. Jesus.
You wouldn't even go outside in the middle of the night, would you, Paul?
I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Docile man.
I'm a very indoors person. I like camping, just like, you know, controlled camping.
Camping in your backyard. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, this is creepy as shit. It's very atmospheric. I mean, in the new film, they really play on sound, and sound is really important. But it's also crystal clear, the sounds in the new one. Whereas here, it's so muffled, it's so subtle. The whole idea is any sound is like, what was that? What kind of sound? What did I just hear? Nothing's clear. Like it's on all sides of us. That's from the sound guy as well. Trust the sound guy.
But they don't, and that's the... I think that is why he's the most rational one. Because he's the sound guy.
Heather is also the queen of the dat.
Yeah.
I mean, she talks about the dat all the fucking time. You got the dat? Who's got the dat? Where's the dat? Get the dat. Get the dat. What the fuck is that? You got the dat? Yeah, she's big on dat.
It's not scared by our yelling, okay. So maybe that's what they think is some sort of animal.
Yeah, they did talk about it being a deer, but it sounds like footsteps. Oh no, it's a fucking person. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna read the rest of the dat. I mean, now it's just, this is a black screen, but it's so effective.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is such a relatable scenario. Everyone's been in the woods at night at some point.
Yeah. I love that. Please say it's like 5 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. Isn't 3 o'clock a bit like isn't 3 o'clock the witching hour? I know people talk about like midnight being the witching hour, but
no, I think 3 a.m. is definitely the quietest hour, so that's definitely
yeah. It's got to be the point where most people are asleep. Oh, and they wake up with the piles of rocks outside their tent.
So this is when the games begin.
Yeah,
and you're saying this is the first night that they shouldn't be, because she said we should have been home by now.
That's it. So from here on in, they're technically, as of this point, they are officially lost. Really, they're only camping because they're lost. So everything that happens now is because they're lost. That would scare the living Christ out of me. Not that Christ lives inside of me, of course.
Yeah.
But, a strange saying to say.
It is it's sort of a classic saying,
We're going to get the dad back. Get the dad back. Everyone's going mad about the dad.
I didn't realise how badly she wants the dat. It's never really sort of...
So seven headstones in the cemetery for 7 children. 3 headstones outside the tent. It's not good. And they're tired and they're hungry. Yeah, this is it, Josh. I'm just fucking done, man. I'm just fucking done. I like that. Oh, this is this is Heather. The first time she's kind of looked, did we say like small almost?
Yeah, this is when the confidence and the control starts to crack.
That's one of the first times we've seen her on... No, that's not true. It's the first time we've seen her kind of being properly shot.
Yeah.
And not kind of an action shot. And that's interesting because... Josh is done, but he's still got time to be a little sadistic enough to be filming the fact that he thinks Heather's lost the map.
Do you think he's been sadistic, or he's just sort of doing it out of a duty to her?
Do you think she really wants it on film that she lost the map? I like this as well because obviously, spoilers, but we know that Mike's the one who's got rid of the map, and he's. And if you think about it, it's almost obvious because he's just like, really, you don't have it? He's so quiet that you can guess it's him. He's like, oh, let's go. I never noticed that before. I never noticed that he's really, all of a sudden, he's not the one going, oh, it's fucking bullshit. Oh, we should be out of it by now. You lost the map. Oh my God. All of a sudden he's like, you really don't have it? Okay, well, let's go. So there's already the change has come. And I think this is probably like a decent point where I remember reading about the directors and the fact that they would leave envelopes outside the tent for the actors in the morning. So the actors never saw the filmmakers. No, they had them on GPRS or GPS. Yeah. They had them on GPS. So they knew where they were. They stayed out of view. They stayed like 500 feet away. They stayed, far enough away that they couldn't ever be seen. But then they would give them envelopes in the morning, or leave them like energy bars and envelopes, and it would say like, today you're going to be nice to this person, today you're going to be angry at this person. And that's how they kind of they changed up the dynamics, and it really works. I mean, it's such an effective way of making something look so real and sound so real as well. So they're starting to kind of think about. There's the fucking dat again. They're always talking about the dat. Now I'm talking about the dat all the fucking time as well. I love that kind of. It's very hard to get lost in America these days. You know, you keep walking and you'll be fine. I like the line. We're doing a very good job at being lost. But yeah, it is. It's all this stuff now is all about, like, you know, people go, no, we're missing. It's like the 5 stages of grief, right? And then one of them is compromise? Is that what is going on now? It's almost like, okay, we're lost, but this is going to happen. And this is going to happen. So we're going to be fine. So we had anger, didn't we? We had, this is bullshit, this is crazy. And we had denial, because Heather was like, no, we're not lost, it's fine. And now we've got compromise. This is where they go over the river. And, well, it's not really a river, is it? It's a stream.
Stream, yeah.
It's the stream. And Heather gets her shoes wet and does not find it funny in the slightest. And they're all getting a little hysterical now because they're all laughing at it. Yeah. And it's almost that idea. Oh, because she's like, "Is that Michael? Are you laughing?"
Yeah.
They're all a little bit hysterical because they're like, I think that's probably fear more than anything. Although I find it funny that she's got, you know, she doesn't like being the butt of a joke, does she, at all?
No.
And actually, she winds them up.
It's the character.
Yeah, but then it winds them up because she's like, "What are you holding the map? What are you, hiding the map?" And it's like, fuck.
But I feel
off.
like because they just argued about the map stuff, and that's the lowest point they've been at so far, that they can now sort of be a bit more honest with each other, so they are sort of a bit more relaxed.
Well, this is probably why Mike confesses, I suppose.
Yeah, they're so relaxed right now, he just lets it slip out, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I think it's great how different the three of them are as well from what they were. He's like, "Ah, fuck it, leave it." Just turns on it there. Oh, jeez. And then Mike seeming almost too hysterical now.
Yeah.
So this is completely irrational behaviour from him, isn't it? And this is this idea that, you know, if there is some kind of odd force fucking with them. Yeah. This is the kind of thing, like Mike being laughing hysterically, but then like just confessing the fact that he kicked the fucking map into the creek yesterday. It was useless, and it's like, that's a really irresponsible thing to do. Considering he doesn't want to be there, considering he's the first to go, this is bullshit. Yeah. It's not only out of character; it's irrational.
It's completely irrational.
You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it.